Hello everybody, it's me Nate aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another video, mainly because I haven't had one in about a week I think, and I don't want you guys thinking I'm dead just yet. Don't worry, the Stray review will be up at launch. I don't think it comes out till the 19th, so y'all gotta wait for that. That'll be the PS5 review of Stray that is coming. But before that, there was something I wanted to discuss about a game known as the Quarry. Now, if you haven't noticed on my channel, there's tons of videos I have up on it, including a complete playthrough where I keep all the stupid teenagers alive, which is a lot harder than you think. And honestly, I have to have a video about this that I have to say that I don't know if this is going to be a rant or just more of a discussion. I think I'm going to label it as a rant because it's just easier for my my list there, my playlists. More of a discussion, but yeah, it's a rant of the Quarry, the Supermassive game. Now, keep in mind, I am a huge fan of this game. I really am. I absolutely love it. There's not too many games that Supermassive has made that I haven't actually liked. They always have their highs and their lows, but for the most part, they harken me back when I'm younger to the days when I was a little kid and you had those little books you could get that were like a choose your own story adventure where you'd read it and it would like turn to page 4 if you want this to happen, turn to page 12 if you want this to happen. It's an interactive movie. Now, I've told a lot of people this, that they wanted to play the game because it looks cool, and I have to let them know, like, remember, it's an interactive movie. There's a lot of stuff where you just watch it and you don't get to control it. But my main issue is, I wrote these down as some major issues I have with the Quarry. And for its overall size and a game like this where they have to design it from the ground up with the different decisions you make, I'm kind of surprised there's this many mess ups with this game. There really is. Now, most people don't know this, but the Quarry was originally supposed to be an exclusive title for the Stadia. Yeah. Ew. All right. Stadia. But fortunately, they ended up coming out with it on different systems. Thank goodness. It would have been a waste of a lot of time they made. Really, Stadia. Now, there are certain things I have to point out in this game that really bother me. It really does. First of all is the massive continuity issues with this. With a game like that is structurally built from every decision you make makes a different choice happen throughout the game. This game's story has so many continuity issues where there's certain jumps and stuff. And I know if you play through it one time, you might not figure it out, but I played through it so much, I see all the cracks in the eggshell of their story, to where there's so many different parts that jump around that make no sense, that there's no story that leads to it. One of them I would think, and I guess I should say spoilers at this point, so if you watch this video, I might give away something if you haven't played it yet. But one part that like takes place when you're playing Laura Kearney and Max in the police station, there's a part that jumps where like immediately the cop is stun gunning Max and say, get your clothes off because he's about to turn into a werewolf, and there's nothing that leads up to that. You know, no matter how many different times I played the game, there's no bit of story in there that explains why that massive jump is there. One moment he's like, oh, well, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And the next he's like, get against the wall, take your clothes off, and you're going to watch this. It's like, it's a bit of a continuity issue. And there's lots of them in this game. And that actually really bothers me. The next up has to be, I think it's Abby. I think her name is. I don't know what her is, but her hair is possessed. There are so many scenes where her hair is glitching so bad, and other people have hairs that kind of glitch a little bit. Hers freaks the fuck out. I mean, it looks like a spider trying to crawl off her scalp. And especially in the one part when, I can't remember his name. I don't think it's Dylan, but the one guy's turning into the werewolf. And, you're talking to him and he throws you. And her hair is like doing this. It's like freaking out, and honestly I'm shocked by that. It does it even in the PS5 version, so that shows it's actually the programming of the game, not just a glitch of the system. I think it has to do with the Unreal game engine and hair. I don't know, but they couldn't quite get her hair right. The other people's hair seem to be kind of fine. And the next one, which a lot of people agree with me on, is the werewolf transformations. They're hideous, they're terrible, they're stupid, they're dumb. Honestly, the fact of sitting there where they go, "Ah!" and then they explode open with blood, and next thing you know, they're a werewolf. And then when they go back to normal, they go, "Ah!" and they explode with blood again, and they're normal. It's fucking stupid, okay? It's really stupid. And I'm pretty sure the development team did not know how to do this. They're like, oh, how are we supposed to do a transformation of basically a sprite swap, a character swap, without having a 15-minute scene of like a werewolf in London where the guy's turning into a werewolf, and it just comes off as just really cheap and crappy. Honestly, I'm not impressed with the effect at all. It leaves very little to believe. A lot of the characters' clothes disappears completely, and then miraculously when they come back, they have their clothes again. Now, some of them do have their clothes if you look close. They're like shredded versions, and when they come back, and it's like, okay, apparently you ain't going to die from all that blood loss from everything exploding. But it's really bad, honestly. And another friend of mine pointed out that isn't it kind of odd that the animations of the werewolves seem to look awful lot like the Wendigos that was in Until Dawn. Yeah, it's almost like they used the same animation data for the werewolves than they did as the Wendigos in Until Dawn. They don't look really like werewolves. Their faces look kind of creepy, but they look kind of stupid, honestly. So I'm not impressed at all with their werewolf transformations. Maybe they just ran out of time and didn't know what the hell to do with it. I don't know. Honestly, the other thing has to be the replay. The life rewind ability, where you're given 3 lives to go back and save the lives of the people. So if you do something where the character gets killed, it'll pause, it'll rewind, and allow you to use one of your 3 lives to pick a different choice to save them. Now that's a novel idea, and on the PlayStation 5 it's not that bad because it doesn't take hardly any time to load. But if you try this on the normal PS4 system, it literally will take about 5 minutes to reload before you get to that part to be able to make your decision again. And 3 lives, it's like... really, it's a nice addition, but I think it's flawed how they added it into the game. Honestly. Now, another main thing about these games is a lot of people have actually mentioned this. They are interactive movies. Okay, it reminds me of the games like Indigo Prophecy and Detroit Become Human, a David Cage game where it is you get to control the character, but it's heavily dialogue based and choice based. And I do feel that at this point in the games, they should have more control over your characters. There is a lot of these games, especially this one, where most of it is just dialogue. You watching dialogue and picking choices. And I think they could design a game in a different way to where you have a little bit more control. I mean, really, seriously, while you're picking your choices, have it to where the character can move around or something, because it just gets to a point where it kind of gets boring, especially in some of the other levels, because that's the other thing I have to talk about is some of the chapters in this game. This has 10 chapters in the Quarry, and the first couple are slow as crap because they're building up the character development so you know and learn each of the characters that you play as. I get that. I'm okay with that. But there's so many other chapters, especially including, I think it's chapter 7, the one when you're in the police station, that drag on and are so slow and boring as hell. And I know they're to set up the story, but I just wish that they would work a little bit harder on making a game to where it doesn't have to have these exposition dumps be so damn boring and slow. I mean, honestly, I really have issues with that. Now, the other thing is, once again, this goes back with the major continuity issues of the game. There are certain parts in this where there's way too many werewolves. Now, what I mean is, if you watch and play the game, you know the story that basically Silas is the main werewolf that bit Caleb and the one girl, and they bit the brother, from the Hackett family, and they've been covering it up for years. They even killed a couple people, like reporters in there. That's who the guy that's in the bottom of the lake is one of the hikers that was missing, just so you're wondering. And they never really actually talk about what happened to the other people. And there's one part that threw me for a loop, is when you're actually playing as, I think it's Dylan, and he's with the lady and they're in a junkyard. There's a part where you can end up dropping a car on a werewolf to save the girl and get past the level. Well, who the hell is that werewolf? Who is that werewolf? There makes no sense who the werewolf is. And in theoretically speaking, if you're able to kill the main werewolf like Silas at the end of the game, that means all the other people revert back to normal. Wouldn't there be a dead body crushed underneath the car that was dropped on him in a junkyard? Just saying, they never talk about that. You don't know who the werewolf is, where they came from, or what happens to them. And I have a problem with that, I really do. And that's also back to the other thing there involving Dylan, is who the hell actually bit Dylan? You know, if you play this game and you see that he's with the one guy and are trying to send out the SOS in the cabin and he gets his hand bit and you have the option of cutting his hand off. Well, if you don't cut his hand off, he stays infected the rest of the game, even though Kaylee gets shot immediately after. Now, the only other werewolf in the area at the time that could possibly have bitten Dylan was Kaylee, okay? And she gets shot. She's the dead body that's floating in the swimming pool, right? If it's not her, then who the hell is the werewolf that bit Dylan? And it technically, if it was Kaylee, then that would mean by her being killed by Silver, that Dylan's curse would be lifted. But no, it's not. No, it's not. Honestly, so many things wrong with this game. It's still great, but there's so many issues that I have with it. And the last one, the main one, has to be the inclusion of Eliza Vorez. The most annoying, boring, unscary main character villain I've ever seen in a game. Yes, she's supposed to be the mother of Silas and the runner of the freak show that gets burnt to the ground when they set the hay bales on fire so they can release Silas from their cage. And there is a nice little bit if you collect all of the tarot cards. As you see on my channel, you can watch the secret ending of Elias that actually shows Eliza's death of what happens to her, where she can survive or she can get impaled with a rod that explodes from a gas tank from her burning down freak show. And my question is, it's obvious right from the start, she is obviously the hag of Hackett's Quarry. Everyone can say that without a doubt, but is she alive or is she dead? Now, theoretically, if you go by the hidden ending where she does die, then she's a ghost, okay? And that kind of ties in the fact with her being in an occult and a psychic, that she has the mental ability to actually do certain things that make you see her throughout your adventure and lead you on the way to lure the kids to help her kill the Hacketts. That's the whole point she does. She's there not to be your friend, but basically to lure the kids to get them to kill the Hackett family for her out of revenge. That's her whole point and plot in this game. And it could be left out. And the thing is, supermassive games have found a niche. But they feel like they always have to have some sort of curator that leads you through the chapters, okay? And in this one, their idea was to come out with Eliza. And I think it fails miserably because she's just not that scary. Even at the end, if you do everything wrong, she's like, I'll be following you. That breath on your neck, I'll always be with you. I'm like, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Oh, I'm so scared. She's not threatening. She's a dumb, pointless character. And other than being the mother of the tie-in of Silas, the main character, the main werewolf in the game, it's absolutely pointless and stupid. I mean, they could have done so much more with it of actually having her as a ghost instead of you visiting her in her gypsy wagon and her giving you your fortune teller readings. They could have had her like you be in a graveyard and the ghost of her coming up and telling the story. It would have been a hell of a lot creepier and would have fit in better with the story instead of her in her gypsy wagon, which got burnt down in the first place. And that leads to me a question. It's like, okay, who the hell are you playing as in this? Okay? Even in the other one, the Dark Pictures Anthology series, you never know who character it is that you're playing. It's some random schmo that just happens to go into an area and you're viewing this and you go, oh, I'm going to play this or read this book as a story, and it's like you're an unknown antagonist, an unknown person who's playing the role as the story progresses. And I kind of wish at this point Supermassive would kind of mix it up a bit and come up with a different idea instead of falling on the same thing. It's getting stale at this point, and even though I cannot wait for The Devil Inside Me, the final version, final game of the Dark Pictures Anthology with which actually looks really, really good. I'm pretty sure it's going to follow the same route, the same stereotypical point and click ideas, the same plot synopsis with you and the main character. I just hope it has a better ending. And that's the final thing I have to say about the Quarry, has to be the endings. They boasted that this game has over 180 different endings, and none of them are good. They all suck. They all consist of a couple second clips of a person that's either that's lived, died, or infected in a different location with other people. And at the very end, you have this very annoying thing where it's the podcast where they're explaining the whole plot of the story. If you watch it all the way through, you get a trophy if you have 2 hours, which is stupid. And honestly, the endings absolutely suck in this game. The endings in all the other games I've played, the Dark Pictures Anthology, and the other games Supermassive have made, have been way better than this one. The endings in this one absolutely suck. They're not viable. They're not good. You don't care about any of the characters. You don't get to see any of the aftermath other than the fact if they survive the night or not. And that's it. And don't even get me going on the chapter select. The chapter select. This one actually pisses me off, and it's the chapter select is once you beat the game once, you unlock chapter select. So you can go back and replay the game again and make different choices. Well, that sounds great, doesn't it? Well, it's not, because once you start a chapter select, you have to play through the whole game again before it unlocks chapter select again. So let's just say you want to play through and you want to get like something you missed in chapter 2. Guess what, motherfucker? You got to play all the way through from chapter 2 to 10 and beat the game again before you can unlock chapter select to go back through and play it again. That's fucking stupid. That's stupid. You should have had it once you unlocked the chapter select. You could just play through it whenever you wanted. Have multiple save files and play through it as you wanted. But no, they decided this stupid thing of like, oh, once you play through again on chapter select, you got to play through the whole fucking game again. And I absolutely hate that. That to me seems like either a poor game design or an intentional piss poor game design to force you to have to play the game way too many fucking times if you're a fact of a damn trophy hunter. And honestly, in the end, I still love the game. I absolutely do. But there's just so many issues with it I just have to point out. Are there any issues in the game that I haven't mentioned that you noticed while playing through the Quarry? Please leave in the comments below. And I'd love to talk to you and answer each and every single one of them to see if I actually had it happen or not, if it's something I forgot about or not. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Give me lots of thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to enter my current giveaway. Look forward to my new upcoming Stray review. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil's in the details. Peace out until next time.